Hello, Divine Ones. This is Ashley, H.A. Williams for FD 1111 Ministries, home of Tarot, Bible, and Alchemy. In this video / post, I will be talking about some of the symbols that represent the pineal gland or wisdom. So 3 of the ones I wanted to focus on are the pomegranate, the pine cone, and the number 613. So for you that have been with me for a while, you know about the number 613. The number 613 for me is, well, not just for me, but in general, is the number for higher wisdom and knowledge. So to jump right directly into it, I'm going to start with the number 613, which is an important number to me for many reasons, but I will explain that all later. But I ran across this powerful number in my studies last year. This number stems from the mitzvah in the Torah, which there are a total of 613 laws. In Jewish Kabbalah, in Jewish mysticism, the practice known as Kabbalah, the number 613 is very significant, just the same as there are 613 parts of every 𝑫𝒊𝑽𝒊𝑵, or 613 bones in the average human body. The divine number is also said to be associated with the star of the King David as well as the star of Solomon. 613, the Merkabah in wisdom, the Tesla code. So we know about the Tesla numbers 3, 6, and 9 and how they are so important, and how Tesla would use these 3 numbers and how he thought so highly of these 3 numbers. For me, this number is one of the keys to the Tesla code. The number 316 equals whatever number is next to it. So I call this the Tesla code because you can take the 3, the 6, and the 9 and you can use them any way. This also represents the divine Merkabah. So if you ever looked at a image, which I will have pictured on the screen for those that are watching on the video, that you have 3 triangles that are shaped or arranged differently, and they're all interlocked within themselves. So this is a representation or physical understanding of the Tesla code, the 3, the 6, and the 9. So when I have the number, or when I see the number 316, I know that if I take 6 and 9, 6 minus 9, then it equals 3, or if I take 3 plus 6 equals 9, and you could just rearrange it any type of way and it will still equal out to having one of those 3 numbers. The symbolism of pomegranates. Pomegranates are said to have 613 seeds within just one pomegranate. So this is where you get the association between the 613 as well as pomegranates. The pomegranates have also been linked to the tree of life, or either the tree of good and evil in the Garden of Eden, in which the forbidden fruit was 613, was the pomegranate, and that's how you get the sacred knowledge. You can also check out this blog post that goes in more depth on our website at www.fd11-11ministries.org, and that link will be down below. Known as the fruit of the dead and believed to come from the blood of Adonis, the goddess of the underworld Persephone was Adonis's adoptive mother. The myth states that she ate a certain amount of the pomegranate seeds. Is no distinctive number, which kept her bound to the underworld for a certain amount of time during the year. Persephone's mourning mother could no longer give fertility to the earth. This was the mythological explanation for the seasons in the ancient Greece. That's the reason why the pomegranate was known to be the fruit of the dead. 613, wisdom and the pomegranate, the Sacred Heart. So the Sacred Heart is both associated, mainly associated with the Christ, but it's also associated with the mother of Christ, the Virgin Mary, the Santa Maria. Pomegranates in the Bible. In the book of Exodus, the high priests would wear a unique garment called the ephod, which was embroidered with pomegranates on the hem of the garments. So the hem of the garment is also in relation to the hem of the garment of the highest priest, which is the Christ. And the hem of the garment is made reference to in many of the biblical texts, but especially in one that the lady was sick with the issue of blood for 12 years. And so 12 and 12, the 144. And I can get into the decoding of that in a whole nother video. One of the 7 spices in Deuteronomy 8:8 hinted as the possible mystic measurement system. The large fruit which was one brought to Moses from the promised land as a sign of the land's fertility and abundance. So this is where you get the association with pomegranates being associated with fertility and abundance. Some scholars believe that the pomegranate was the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden in the book of Genesis. So I said that before. In some Christian artwork, often the hands of the Mother Mary or the baby Christ is a broken or busting open pomegranate as a symbol of the fullness of the Christ's suffering and resurrection. Pomegranates in tarot. You have the Empress card, in which the Empress's dress is covered with pomegranates to represent fertility and abundance. The torn veil of the Temple of the High Priestess card is decorated with pomegranates, representing divine wisdom. The Four of Wands card. The wedding party canopy is draped with several pomegranates to wish the couple prosperity, blessing, abundance, and fertility. The Emperor card. The powerful emperor sitting on his throne holds a golden pomegranate in his left hand, depicting his power, control, and authority. Now, some say this could be a pomegranate or either an acorn, or it can even be a globe. The Lover's card. On the feminine side of the tree holds the forbidden fruit, and some beliefs is known to be the pomegranate. And lastly, the Fool card. And you can check that full decoding video out for the Fool card. The wise fool, being led by the divine spirit, dressed as a vagabond covered in pomegranates, as well as the wheel of life. The symbolism of pine cones, Fibonacci, pineal gland, and the flower of life. So with the pine cone represents the pineal gland. And you can find this in many of the depictions of art and many studies. So I'm going to go into this a little deeper. But you have the two different types of pine cones, just the same as the two different types of pineal glands. So you have the calcified pineal gland, which is pictured as a closed pine cone. Then you have the decalcified pineal gland, that is the opened pine cone. A perfect Fibonacci sequence in either direction, example of the sacred geometry, much like the rose or a sunflower. Both of those videos you can check out as well. The pine cone has long been symbolic for the pineal gland, which is named after the pine cone. Pine cones were also used as symbols for fertility in ancient Assyrian artistry. Christian symbolism. In the Christian symbolism, they are closely related to the tree of life, the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's because of the pineal gland. That's the reason why they are also associated with the forbidden fruit and the forbidden knowledge of good and evil. Because when the pineal gland, aka the pine cone, is calcified or either closed, that the activity or the flow of consciousness is closed off. So when they gain the understanding and the knowledge of good and evil, their pineal gland became decalcified, aka it became opened. The popular biblical story of Jacob's ladder, Genesis 32:30 through 31. Now, I did do an article on this, which will be linked down below. Jacob awakens to a vision of angelic interdimensional beings ascending and descending from the heavenly realms. He named that place Peniel, similar to Pineal of pineal gland. The staff or wand, Church of Isis, and pine cones. Now on the screen, for those that are watching on the video, you will see that I have many pictures of the staff or the wand, and the wand that is associated with Dionysus, Osiris, as well as the Pope staff. So you can see this a lot in the artwork of the Catholic temples or buildings or churches, as well as their head garments, their head dressings, and the staff that the Pope carries around. You have a pine cone there, and with the coat of arms, aka also called the Holy See, which most mention and say that that is the third eye, and you have the three-tiered pine cone. At Santa Maria sopra Minerva, you have a pine cone at the head of the entrance of that building, and I'm going to get into that in a bit. The pygna, Latin for pine cone, is a 3-story tall bronze pine cone sculpture built by the Romans, first located at the temple of the goddess of Isis in the ancient Rome as a long overflowing fountain. However, the statue is seated in front of the Catholic Vatican, which is named the court of the pine cone. The Church of Isis and Minerva, Santa Maria sopra Minerva, that is Latin. It is located in Italy, Rome, in a major church of the Roman Catholic Order of Preachers, aka the Dominicans. The first Christian church was built on this very foundation of the consecrated temple of Isis. However, the temple is socially attributed to the Roman goddess Minerva. The flag and the crown, the coat of arms, and the Holy See, pictured on the Vatican flag, is not only linked to the pine cone, but also thought as a reference to the third eye. The headdress or crown that adorns the head of the Pope during ceremonies or rituals is also shaped like a pine cone. The staff and the wand, the Olympian god Dionysus, is often depicted carrying a 𝘖𝑔𝑚, a wand or staff topped with a pine cone used in rituals. Much like the 𝘖𝑔𝑚 carried by Dionysus, the Pope carries a scepter, also topped with a pine cone, or either the pine cone can be a little bit under the cross. Other religions and pine cones. The Aztecian goddess, and pardon me, I do not know how to exactly pronounce her name, 𝐾𝐄𝐿's 7 snakes, are depicted with corn, also known as the maize goddess. Some even say she actually is carrying an evergreen, also known as a pine cone. She represents immortality and spiritual ascension. 𝐷𝐴𝐾𝐿𝐼, the 7 sages and pine cones. 𝐷𝐴𝐾𝐿𝐼 is a word used in some ancient texts. For example, the Epic of Gilgamesh. 𝐷𝐴𝐾𝐿𝐼, and pardon me if I'm saying it incorrectly, the word is translated as an expert, wise, or sage, usually depicted as a hybrid of a human, which represents wisdom, or the wisdom of humans, with a fish or an eagle head, or both with a fish with an eagle's head on top of it, and with eagle's wings. The protective spirit holds a bucket of cones, or a bucket or a cone in the opposite hand. Buddha and his curly fro. So that's just a joke. I'm just joking about that. But there has been some questioning of his ethnicity, if he is in fact Asian or if he is African, of African descent, but that's for another discussion. But if you some say that on his head that he has pine cones on his head, and that represents, of course, wisdom. In other stories, that the curly figures or structures on his head are snails. But either way it goes, that he has brought wisdom and tranquility to millions. Understanding the symbolism of the number 613, the pomegranate, and the pine cone can open the eyes to a deeper and higher spiritual connection. So I thank you guys for your continued support, for your shares, your likes, and your comments. If you have a topic you want me to cover or to decode, just let me know, and I will catch you guys later. All right, peace.